All right, hello everyone. I am Cool Cat Terry, and it is February 5th, 2022. And today we are going to talk about 90s kid nostalgia with some popular point and click games of the time here on Just a Glimpse.
Just a glimpse, not your average podcast. Are you ready to get angry? Covering
Movies,
gaming, politics. Just a glimpse.
all right, everyone. A lot of you may not know, but some of you may. Back in the 90s, there were some very popular point and click games that pretty much took over gaming, at least for me as a kid. And I'm excited to talk about today because they made an announcement that they're coming to Nintendo Switch. This is fantastic. So, a lot of people may not be fully familiar with a company called Humongous, but I am, and I'm excited. So Humongous went ahead and they made a bunch of different like kids game series that they had Putt Putt to Freddy Fish to Spy Fox and a bunch of others, and they were just these really cute, fun to play little point and click games to get kids into gaming as well as to help kids learn. They were educational games, but they weren't in your face like, hey, here's some math and some alphabet. They didn't do, they had stuff like that with the think games, but Pajama Sam, Freddy Fish and stuff, those were more narrative stories where you're just trying to help each other out, solve some puzzles. So it was still a good way for kids at the time to do some puzzles and to, get their brain working and so they could work on some, critical thinking and things like that and problem solving. So these were fantastic. And a while back, years ago, I went ahead and they ended up putting these games on Steam. And to get all of the games, there's over 40 games in the full collection. To get all of the, I think there's like 40. Forgive me, I could be mistaken. There's a lot of games, and it was like $200 worth of games just to get the Humongous collection. And that's pretty pricey. I didn't want to drop $200 to get some games from my childhood. So I waited for a Steam sale, as a lot of us do, because some of the times it's like the best option. And I think I picked up the full $200 some dollar collection for somewhere between $60 and $80. I don't remember how much I spent, but I know I saved a lot. So I ended up collecting these games, and I'm going to show you these games to kind of go over them in more detail. But I found this article today showcasing that they are bringing these games to Nintendo Switch, which is also fantastic because Nintendo Switch, as we all know, is a fantastic platform that not only adults can enjoy and take on the go if they choose, or keep it docked and play on their TV, but it's a popular system with kids. So to put these classic kids games on there, this is a win in my book, because then if you were a 90s kid like I was and you played these games, now you can introduce them to your kids if you have kids, or your nieces or nephews or what have you, so that they can enjoy the same games that you enjoyed growing up. So I'm excited. Let me go ahead and switch over to this article that I found. Okay, so Polygon wrote this article on Thursday, and it's titled Pajama Sam, Spy Fox, and more humongous point-and-click classics come to the Nintendo Switch. During the late 90s to early aughts, the Washington-based studio Humongous Entertainment rose to prominence through the release of the four popular series of point-and-click children's adventure games Pajama Sam, Putt Putt, Freddy Fish, and Spy Fox. Following the release of Putt Putt Travels Through Time and Freddy Fish 3 on the Nintendo Switch last month, which I myself, didn't even know was on the Switch, so this is news to me, so gets me more hyped. Nintendo announced today on Twitter the arrival of several more titles from the Humongous Entertainment catalog, including Pajama Sam and No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside, and its 1998 sequel, Pajama Sam 2, Thunder and Lightning Aren't So Frightening, Putt Putt Saves the Zoo, Freddy Fish 3 Case of the Stolen Conch Shell, and Spy Fox Dry Cereal. Founded in 1992, we're just going to quickly go through this. Founded in 1992, Humongous Entertainment produced over 30 interactive adventure titles, eventually becoming the third largest children's entertainment software company in the US by the year 2000. Several years after Humongous was acquired by Info Games, aka Atari, in 2005, the company went bankrupt and the Humongous catalog was subsequently acquired by video game publisher Tomo, which has since gone on to re-release the games on PC and other platforms. Though it's been more than 2 decades since the release of a new title in Pajama Sam, Freddy Fish, Putt Putt, and Spy Fox series, Humongous's original games remain enormously popular among a generation of gamers who came of age during the turn of the century and still hold up as charming, entertaining experiences. If it's been a few years since you last sat down to play them, or perhaps you're new to these games, it's never been easier to do so. So yes! Yes! I'm so happy! So I'm going to quickly show you guys. Here, let me switch over. I'm going to show you my Steam library. I went ahead and I categorized all my stuff. Let me switch this. So I categorize all my stuff. You can't really see everything, but you have like the Big Thinkers games. These are going to be more of your educational, like doing like ABCs and kind of stuff. But then you have Fatty Bear. You got the Freddy Fish games. The Haunted Schoolhouse right here. I absolutely loved this game growing up. I played the Case of the Stolen Conch Shell. This one is also fantastic. The Hogfish Hustlers of Briny Gulch. I think I might have played, but I honestly don't remember if I did. And then the Creature of Coral Cove. Then we have Maze Madness. I played this one. Water Worries. I played this one. This was more like little little mini game kind of stuff versus the narrative-based point and clicks that the other ones are. We have Freddy Fish and the Case of the Missing Kelp Seeds. I really enjoyed that one as a kid as well. And then we move in, we have the Buzzy games. I never played the Buzzies, but I do own them, and I really need to go and play through these games again, because now that, I got this article and it's bringing me back, I'm like, you know what? I remember I bought these games on a Steam sale years back, and I still haven't, found the time to play through them. I really need to do that, because a lot of us gamers have a habit of buying games on Steam sales because they're so awesome you can't pass them up, but then you end up getting too many games and you don't have time to play them. I am guilty. So I need to do this. I need to do this. I've been meaning to play through these. And then we have the Pajama Sams. These are fantastic. Thunder and Lightning aren't so frightening. The You Are What You Eat from Your Head to Your Feet, to get children into, eating fruits and veggies. And then we have the Life is Rough When You Lose Your Stuff. And then we have Games to Play on Any Day. No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside. This one here was the one that introduced me to Pajama Sam. I loved it. And then we had the little, side games, Lost and Found and Sockworks. Sockworks is like a little spin-off because Pajama Sam, he's always losing his socks. So they made a little spin-off of him trying to find his socks. Then the Putt Putt games. Got, Putt Putt with Fatty Bear over here. So this is going to be a bunch of little educational games for kids. And then we have the Balloonorama, another little side mini game. And then Dog on a Stick was another little side mini game with like a little pogo stick. Then you have Enters the Race, which was cool. Goes to the Moon was pretty decent. Joins the Circus was cool. Joins the Parade. Birthday Surprise, I don't think I ever did that one. Saves the Zoo. This one here, I played this one multiple times as a kid. Putt Putt Saves the Zoo. Fond memories of this. I remember as a kid, it took me probably a week to get through this one game. Maybe more. Maybe a good while to get through it as a kid. But now as an adult, I went back, years back and I replayed it. I think I was able to get through the whole game in less than an hour. But it just shows, how much your mind has developed over the years and, how easy this stuff is for an adult now. But, it is a kid's game. But it's still these games, were done so fantastically with their art style that they aged well. So even though these games are, 30 years old, they still look like anything that could be made today when it comes to point and clicks. So it's very well done. And then the Spy Fox games, I've never played the Spy Foxes, so I really need to check these out because these look really cool. I think the Spy Foxes were for the kids that were getting a little bit older, so like Putt Putt and Freddy Fish were for like your younger kids. I believe like under the age of like 8. And then you had Spy Fox and Pajama Sam more for the kids who are like 8 and starting to get a little older. Buzzy, I don't know. But yeah, no, these are fantastic. Oh, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped. I need to go through and play these again, like I said. But I don't really have any news to go over. I really just wanted to bring this to light because these were such great games that they should definitely be enjoyed by the new generation of kids out there. So yeah, either grab them on Steam, like I have them, or they're being added to Nintendo Switch. So if that's a better avenue for you to go with, if maybe you don't have a PC but your kid has a Switch, invest into some of these games because your kids are going to like them. These are really good games. I played them a bunch growing up. Absolutely loved it. And since these are basically kind of like indie developed games, it's also an extra passion of mine as an adult. There's a lot of indies that go underappreciated, and this is something that's fantastic. And and I highly recommend it. There's a podcast that I co-host on called Good Morning Xbox. It's on YouTube and it's hosted by Noof Nukem. If you're not already following that podcast, you definitely should be doing so. Just look for Noof Nukem on YouTube. And he's got 2 podcasts. The Good Morning Xbox one is a PG-13, friendly morning podcast we do on Sundays. And I always do an indie spotlight on each episode where I'll pick an indie game out, talk about it, show the trailer, so give you more of an idea of what it's about, so people can go and enjoy these games that are forgotten or just not known about. And this is great because there's a lot of games here for me to cover to try to put them on Good Morning Xbox, but this is a way to where, they can still get some acknowledgement. So please do yourself a favor and check these out. These are just, I really cannot stress enough how fantastic these games are. And for me, going back, just nostalgia, even though the games won't be challenging for me as an adult, it'll be a quick, 30 minutes or so to, play through some of them. But it'll just be the nostalgia factor for me. But if you've never played them, or if, like I said, if you have kids, this is a great thing to get them, especially since a lot of parents are always looking for, games that are, family-friendly, kid-friendly games that don't have violence and other, adult themes with language and things. These are fantastic. All right, these you don't have to worry about any language issues. There's no violence in these. They're great games for your kids, and they're a lot of fun to play. So yeah, this episode is going to be short and sweet, and it's mostly just to put a spotlight on Humongous's games because they definitely are worth having an episode, even if it's a short one. So please check these games out, and thank you all for tuning in. I definitely appreciate you guys, and hopefully next week I'll have a little bit more of a meaty episode for you all. I'm just trying to keep an eye out on what's going on with topics and things. But yeah, this caught my eye and I had to talk about it. So thank you all so much. Be sure to check out Good Morning Xbox on Noof Nukem's YouTube channel. I co-host on that, and it's fantastic. It's, like I said, PG, friendly morning show that goes live on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern. And it's great. We talk about Xbox and things like that. There's no console war nonsense in that one at all. We make sure that if we're going to talk about Xbox-related topics, that we talk about Xbox. So if you're into that. And we also talk about other topics that aren't related to Xbox or any other platform. And it could just be like a multi-platform game or something that we're all into. We'll talk about that too. So it's not just about Xbox. But yeah, go ahead and check that out. It's a fantastic show. And yeah, thank you all so much, and I'll see you all next week. Take care, all. This has been another exciting episode of Just a Glimpse. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends and family. See you all next time, and don't forget to check out my social media. Links in the information section.